Good morning. Happy Saturday. I was like Thursday? No. Happy Saturday for anybody watching here. My name is Libryia Jones. I am the founder of Quick Commuting. God dang it, we're having a problem with Facebook again. This happens every single time. This is so annoying. Remove the destination from the stream and re-add it. I can't do that while I'm in here. Remove. Re-add. Oh, I can't do it. Let's try. Let's try this again. Hey guys. So again, hopefully now it's showing in Facebook. Let me check. But anyway, I am the founder of Quick Commuting. Quick Commuting is an organization dedicated to giving people life work balance versus work life balance, where you find work that fits into your life. And that means to me being able to work remotely, whether that's hybrid. Some people like going to an office. I didn't mean to make that face when I said that. People like going to an office, whether it's hybrid or whether it's um, fully remote from home, fully remote from anywhere. The goal is to help you find work that fits into the lifestyle you want versus having to build your life around your work. A lot of people get jobs and then they move close to their job. They want to buy a house closer to their job. And I hate that. I think that you should be able to pick where you live, what neighborhood you want to live in, what city, what state, what country. I hit 6,000 subscribers. Thank you. I didn't even know that. Thank you. Hey, celebrate good times. Come on. That's awesome. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know that. So once a month, so actually once a week, I do a live Q&A call with my Academy members, the Quick Commuting Academy members. And the Quick Commuting Academy basically is a paid subscription group. It's $29.99 a month. You can cancel at any time. And it just basically is more coaching touch points. So I'm available to the Academy members every Saturday at this time. And then we have a few other coaches. So every other Wednesday, we have a resume reviewer who will go on live and pull up people's resumes and give them feedback to change their resumes. Every month, we have a LinkedIn expert / coach who will pull up people's LinkedIn and go through and give them critiques and feedback on their LinkedIn account. We also do a monthly job search strategy session where you can come on and people can get help with their job search. And we might even search for some stuff together. And then the last one is quarterly, we do something called cubicle therapy, where we actually have a licensed therapist, psychologist actually, who will go on to a session and just, let you vent and talk it out. Like sometimes you just need to talk it out with somebody. And she loves to remind you that like, she's not your therapist, but she is a therapist. And so she's a great person to talk to. So those are all available in the Academy, including, what we're doing today, which is just me being available to answer questions. And it's $29.99 a month. Plus you get access to a lot of our workshops, our previous workshops. So we have a whole library of content that's available to help people. Like someone just mentioned yesterday, I did the Math Ain't Mathin' session to help people understand how to really break down a job offer and really get to know if this job offer is a really good job offer for you. That session was live and free to the public yesterday, but it will be available as a replay in the Academy for at least 90 days. And so at any time you can join the Academy. I'll drop the link to it in the comments real quick. Community. And so if you ever want to join the Academy and hang out with me every Saturday for 30 minutes, you could do that. Plus there's a bunch of other coaching and stuff like that as well. And again, you can cancel at any time and rejoin at any time. But I don't have an agenda. Like I didn't come here with a specific plan or anything to talk through. I am here for you all. A lot of you guys slide in my DMs and ask me questions. And it's really tough for me to be able to answer people's questions on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. So there's so many platforms and so many people and just one me. And it's really tough to answer all those questions on an ongoing basis. And so I thought I decided that on Saturdays, the last Saturday of every month, I would come on live and answer questions. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know how your job search is going. Ya's little flock from YouTube mentioned that she really liked the Math Ain't Mathin' session yesterday. Let me know if you learned anything new. Like, what was the specific thing that like stuck out for you yesterday in that conversation? And then if anybody else has questions about remote work, how to get remote work, or anything. If you follow me on Instagram, you might know that I am in Tallahassee, Florida, putting together an Airbnb a townhouse that my mom owns. And I am updating it to put it on Airbnb. Hopefully it will be on Airbnb on the 1st. I have like last decorating things to do. Like I gotta put some artwork up here and clean up this place so that it can go on Airbnb, but happy to answer questions about that and anything else. What y'all wanna know? Let me know. What are the questions? Drop your questions in the comments. I'm going to go live on YouTube, on Instagram as well, because people there tend to have questions, have a lot of questions. And I keep saying I'm going to let people know that I'm going live, but I forget to do that often. Give me just a second. But drop questions again. I don't have an agenda. This is all for y'all. This is all for you guys. Remote work. One thing I was thinking about the other day is someone told me that they were scared of remote work for years and they think that this is the last year that they're like, this is the year that I'm ready. And I was like, scared of remote work? How, scared for why? Like, what are you afraid of? And, oh, let me go. Hopefully they'll be able to hear me. All right. Yeah. So the other day, this woman mentioned to me that she was afraid of remote work. And she's been afraid of remote work for years. And I'm like, what is there to be afraid of? Like, what are you scared of? And she said, well, she's scared that remote jobs are scams. She's scared of getting scammed. And then she's scared of like, what if I mess up? That's what she said. She's like, I'm scared if it's a scam and I'd be scared if I mess up. And I'm like, number one, there's nothing wrong with being afraid, right? For those of you on Instagram, good morning. This is my monthly live Q&A that I normally do on YouTube and Facebook, but I decided to bring the Instagram homies into the fold. So if you have any questions about remote work, now's a good time to ask. But this woman was saying she was afraid. And I'm like, number one, being afraid is not a good enough reason not to do something, right? So we're talking about, she said that she's been avoiding trying to get remote work for 3 years because she was afraid. That's just not a good enough reason to not do something, right? Fear is not necessarily telling you not to do something. I think a lot of us misread the cues from fear. Fear is maybe you being afraid is normal. Like it's okay to be afraid of things that you haven't tried before, but that fear is not always telling you don't do this thing. That fear is saying maybe we need more information, right? Or maybe we need the backup plan, right? So when you guys get afraid of things, I want you to I want you to listen to that fear and say, well, what am I really afraid of? And then when that thing comes out, you can say, well, do I need more information about this or do I need to plan for it? Right? What is my worst case scenario and what would be my plan if worst case scenario happens? So as far as scams, I actually have a video about how to determine if a remote job is a scam. By and large, most remote jobs are not scams. Most companies are looking to hire real people to do real work. They are real companies looking to hire real people to do real work and give you real money. But yes, there are scams out there. That's true. It's a thing. And there are ways to figure that out. So just like companies do background checks on you, you could do background checks on companies. You can go look them up on Glassdoor and see if they exist or if there's been any complaints about them. You can go on their LinkedIn to see what other employees they have and maybe reach out to some of their employees. You can search for them on the Better Business Bureau to see if they've got any complaints from customers calling them a scam, or look at their Google reviews. Have people, stated on Google that this place is a scam. If the customers are saying it's a scam, it's probably a scam. And then the second thing she was afraid of is, what if I mess up? Okay. Have you never messed up before? I mean, I've been alive for 45 years. I've done a lot of messing up in that 45 years, a lot. And, that's the kind of stuff that you just, adjust, learn from, move on. So it was an interesting statement. And so if you're watching, the woman that inboxed me to say that she's been afraid of remote work for 3 years, baby girl, What you got to be scared of? Like, remote work is just work. It's the same work that you've been doing where you are. And I will tell you, my first remote job, not my first remote job, my first remote job in a while. So in 2013, I was freelancing as a project manager for a client in London. And they wanted me to be online at 8 or 9 a.m. their time, which means I had to be up and ready for meetings at 3 a.m. my time. I literally fell asleep the first two times. I was knocked out. I distinctly remember being somewhere in between full sleep, deep sleep, and like partial sleep. And I heard them in a meeting say my name, but I wasn't awake enough to respond. Like, I heard my name, but I wasn't awake enough to actually say anything. And so, that was embarrassing. And I think when I finally came to, I was like, oh, my bad, I was on mute or something like that. And this was back in 2013. And a few days I realized that I was getting behind I was missing deadlines because I didn't have the discipline to work remotely at the time. Now, I had worked remotely as a customer service, in customer service, but that's very much you sit at a desk and you answer phones. Things are coming to you. But this was project management. So this was like me working autonomously and getting work done on my own and being responsible for myself. And a couple times I missed deadlines because I was just really lackadaisical about my work schedule and productivity. And I was sitting in the bed and I just didn't have the discipline personally. And that's not a remote thing. That is a discipline thing, because people don't get their work done at the office either. Let's be clear about that. But so I messed up, but also I realized, oh shit, I really like this job. I really like having this freedom to work remotely and work from home. So I got my shit together. Like, that's it. So if you mess up, fix it, friend. Okay, so we got a couple of questions. I see some questions on Instagram. I see some questions on YouTube. For my YouTube friends, that question came first. Any tips on getting detailed benefits packages from companies? Most of them post all the catchy benefits and job listings, but want to know the real deal. So someone asked about how to get detailed benefits information. So normally that's something that you would ask for when you get your offer, right? Whenever I have ever gotten an offer letter from a recruiter, I usually ask them to send me their benefit summary and then send me their cost sheet so that I know what type of benefits they have, what types of things are covered under their health plans, and what my out-of-pockets would be, right? And then the other thing I ask for is the actual cost sheet so that I know what my premiums are. I don't think that's not necessarily something companies might be willing to share. That's not necessarily something that you can get before you even apply. But I definitely think that that's something that you should ask for once you get your offer. Because as a recruiter, I just say as a recruiter, I'm not even giving you an offer. Like, I'm not going through the effort of looking up and emailing you all of that information, right? Just because you're interested in looking at my company. That's something I would absolutely provide you if I've already extended an offer to you. Are there less available remote jobs now versus 1 to 2 years ago? Of course there are. Not 1 to 2 years ago. No, 2 years ago was 2022. So no, there are about the same amount of remote jobs available as there were 2 years ago. 1 year ago, the economy kind of contracted, right? Companies stopped hiring, but companies are back to hiring again, slow. So I said this at the beginning of the year. I think this year is going to be a slow roll. I think companies pump the brakes on spending any budget and spending any money in Q1. A lot of companies didn't even figure out their budget until the end of Q1 because they came into this year like, tiptoeing into this year. But I'm seeing a lot more job postings opening up. And so I think the second half of the year is going to be bigger hiring. I think the September surge will be a lot more active than last year's September surge. September surge is like one of the biggest hiring seasons. And last September surge was not given. It was looking like Amazon Prime Day. It was all right. It was looking like Black Friday last year. Like, okay, 10% off. So yeah, there are less. I thought when you asked the question, I immediately went back to pandemic days. Of course, there's less remote jobs than there were during quarantine because that was an extreme situation and an outlier. But one of the things I think you guys don't have to concern yourself with is how many remote jobs are out there. Like, stop getting stuck on the macro number of how many remote jobs are out there and available. How many jobs do you need? Like, you need one. You just need one. And so when you're looking in your field, in your industry, there are likely hundreds of thousands of jobs. And so when you hear these people say, what the problem is people hear these headlines, remote jobs are going away and companies are going back to the office. And these are very generic and macro level statements. But when we actually talk about the numbers, we're talking about the remote jobs went from 8 million open remote roles to 5 million open remote roles. Yes, that is less remote jobs. But do you need it to be 8 million for you to get a job? Like 5 million is still a good number. And these are numbers I'm just throwing out there. I literally just made that up really quickly just to give you an example. But these numbers are usually in the millions or multiple hundreds of thousands. Okay. If I looked for project management jobs right now, there's probably over 100,000 project management roles out there. And so y'all stop buying into those headlines, because those headlines are very much a macro number. Be concerned about what you're looking for in your industry. And I will say it is much more competitive because there are more people looking for remote work. And so you've just got to do the extra work to stand out. You've got to do the networking. You've got to do the cover letter that nobody wants to do. You just got to do some of the extra stuff to stand out. All right, so let me get to these Instagram questions. Those were the YouTube questions. Any suggestions about out of the country remote jobs for nurses? I don't have any suggestions about that, actually. I do know I have a friend who was a physician. She's a doctor, and she was traveling the world. So there are companies that hire doctors to work via telehealth. And she was allowed to travel. So I'm sure that there are companies that do the same for nurses. What I would suggest you do, it's tough for me to be an expert in every single industry, just so you know. There are times where I just happen to know some stuff because I happen to have just helped someone or something like that. Someone mentioned travel nursing being a thing internationally. It is, but I think you want to work remotely. But I think this is a great call out too. K Macintosh 40. Someone on YouTube just mentioned you can do travel nursing internationally if your goal is just to be international and not necessarily remote. The other thing that I would tell you to do is go to a website like remote.co or even Flex Jobs. Flex Jobs, a lot of people be complaining about Flex Jobs because it costs money, but like it costs $40 for 3 months. You probably spent more than that last night on Uber Eats. Let's stop playing. So check out remote.co and maybe Flex Jobs and go to the healthcare category on remote.co and see what they have for people who are interested in nursing, and then consider what my friend Ya on YouTube just said, which was try to do travel nursing internationally also. Are there admin EA fully remote roles? I'm so glad you mentioned that, actually. There are, yes. In fact, some company I was just looking at was looking for an executive assistant. They're a remote first company. I want to say it was GitLab, or I really wish I remember what company. But the answer to your question is yes. Again, a great resource for you would be remote.co. There is a section for administrative assistants in there, or just do a Google search, executive assistants, remote. And then the other thing I tell you is you can create your own fully remote role, right? You could be a virtual assistant, an administrative assistant, or a virtual assistant for anyone, and you can create that role yourself. My friend Hannah Dixon is actually hosting a free 5-day VA challenge and teaching people how to be virtual assistants and freelancers. It starts on Monday. I'm trying to figure out how to tell you to get to it. There's a post that I made earlier this week for the people on YouTube. I made a couple of posts about this earlier this week. So after this live, if you want to go to those posts and just type virtual, you'll automatically get a link to it. For those on YouTube, I can send you the link here on YouTube. But it's a free 5-day challenge. Of course, and I like to keep it real. Of course, at the end of the challenge, she's going to, sell you her course. But the cool thing is, I'll tell you this. I think her course is absolutely worth it. Everybody that I know that's been through her course has been everybody that I know specifically has been pretty successful. In fact, I recently hired someone that's been through her course as a programming manager. She was a teacher. She took this 5-day challenge, and then she took the course. And she is now about to transition out of the classroom in June. And she recently got hired to be on my team to be a program manager. And my goal is to, expand her to being an operations manager. So here's what I'll say. Yes, she's going to, at the end of this, because that is what happens on 5-day challenges, guys. We're all trying to make money so that we can continue to make impact. And Hannah is a really great person. Like her main goal is to make impact. And what I love about her 5-day challenge is during that 5-day challenge, you actually might get your first client. A lot of people actually get their first clients during the 5-day challenge. So whether you intend to buy the course or not, do the challenge because you're going to learn a lot. You're going to get exposed to a number of ways that you can make money on your own from anywhere. You're going to identify the skills that you have that can make you money. And I'm going to tell you something, knowing that you have skills to make money gives you a whole different level of empowerment. Like the economy is in a weird place and people are afraid of being laid off. I am not. Like I don't want to be laid off, obviously, but I do realize that if that happened, I have a multitude of skills that I could use to freelance and make money on my own. I know how to do automations. I know how to set up sales emails. I know how to set up project plans. I know how to do so many things that I'm like, I can always make money. And so one of the first things that you learn in her 5-day free challenge is the skills that you have that are marketable, that can make you money. And then she also talked to you about how to price your services, because that's a challenge a lot of people and a lot of women have, is not knowing what to charge folks. And so she'll teach you how to price your services. And then she teaches you how to get clients. And in those exercises, some people actually end up getting clients before the 5-day challenge is over. And so I encourage you to take the challenge. Again, I have multiple videos on YouTube. After this, I'll put a link to it in my stories. So don't go too far. I'll give you the link to sign up for her challenge. It starts on Monday and it's a pretty dope challenge. Okay. So to answer your question directly, yes, there are admin and executive assistant fully remote roles. But you could also create your own. And then there's a company called Belay Solutions that hires virtual assistants or administrative assistants and executive assistants and bookkeepers to work remotely. Now, they do require that you are in the US. What was the next question? Keep the questions coming. I love questions. I'm starting a VA business and got my first client after 1 month. That is so awesome. Congratulations. I'm only mad that I didn't know about this a long time ago when I thought being a digital nomad was just a pipe dream. That is so awesome. Y'all drop some hearts or some hand claps for Lucy Travels Abroad. She just got her first client after only a month of being in a VA. That's so awesome. Being a VA is actually pretty cool. And I think a lot of people hear VA and they automatically think, oh, people are going to want to pay me $8 an hour to do work. And being a VA is much more than doing administrative assistant work. And let's be very clear, administrative assistant work doesn't have to be an 8-hour job. Like, especially if you are in the US, there are VAs making $8 an hour. But a lot of those VAs live in other countries where that $8 an hour is really substantial based on where they live. That's what they charge. But then there are also people who live in other countries that are charging more than that. At any rate, being a virtual assistant encompasses a lot of things. So administrative assistants, voiceover. I know a virtual assistant who creates music for creators. I know virtual assistants who do Canva designs. They do graphic design in Canva. There are virtual assistants that write scripts for videos, for commercials. There's virtual assistants that do online advertising for companies. So it encompasses a lot of things. I've seen jobs doing writing and making test packets for nursing programs. Oh, that's a good idea. So the person that asked about nursing, Lucy Travels Abroad, says she's seen jobs for making test packets for nursing programs. I'm currently an operations manager in person and not earning much. I was a VA and then switched over to OBM. Um, so as an ops manager, you have so many options to work remotely. So I just say start searching for remote operations manager positions. And then just to explain to everybody else what she said when she said I was a VA and then switched over to OBM, that is basically like the next level in a career. I would say it that way. So like as an administrative assistant, a lot of the times you are owning tasks like managing a inbox, managing a calendar, checklist stuff. Like my administrative assistant, I love her. And she has these processes that she works through, right? And so she's got a lot of checklist stuff. And one of the things I'm trying to help her do is get to the point where she can graduate to or move up to a business manager, an operations manager. And the difference between the two is one is very action oriented and task driven. And almost like these are the things I'm being told that I need to make sure I do. But an operations manager like owns processes, sets up processes. Like someone would say, whereas with an administrative assistant, you would say, okay, here's the process, and these are the things that I need you to do in this process, right? But I would tell an operations manager, hey, this is the outcome I want. Create a process to make that happen, right? And so the operations manager tends to have a bit more ownership and um, puts a lot more thought into like how to design process and how to actually, own parts of the business. So even if you start out as an administrative assistant, and I don't like the connotation that there's anything wrong with being an administrative assistant. Thank God for administrative assistants. Thank God for the people that are really good at getting tasks done and getting things done. But if you are an administrative assistant and at some point you want to start charging more or you want to start learning more and doing more, that's kind of a natural matriculation path, right? So congratulations to you. Oh, the person who said that she got her job a month after starting to be a VA, she said that she used the challenge that I was just talking about. Listen, I'm not gonna steer you wrong. Let's see. Hannah's challenges and resources are fire. I didn't buy the course because I'm moving abroad, but the following challenge was super helpful. Excellent. Someone said, thank you for the lazy apply tip. Makes a huge difference for me. Prospecting was huge energy drain. Okay, so this person is talking about, I hosted some sessions. I've spoken at a couple of conferences on this and hosted a live session before about how to use AI to superpower your job search. Now, for some of you, this is a really great tool. For some of us, it's okay. But for some people, it's a really, really great tool because what it does is you upload your resume and you tell it what types of jobs you want to apply for, and it will just automatically apply. I think I have a video of me doing it and testing it out for you guys. And it's like hands off, no hands, mom. It literally will apply for, however many jobs are out there. You tell it how many you want it to apply for, and it'll sit there and apply for 20 jobs within 7 minutes for you. So lazy apply is something that you guys can check out. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. Lazy apply is something that you can check out. It is not free. I think they have a free version, I think. But it is not free, but you pay for it and it can apply. I think it's up to 100 jobs a day or 50 jobs a week or something like that. I'm currently an executive assistant and want to work remotely. You should be able to. Let's see. Been at this job for 7 years. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions. It looks like people are talking to each other in the comments. I love it. I love creating community. Hey, Hannah. I need lazy apply ASAP. Thanks for sharing. No problem. No problem. Oh, thanks for buying a badge. That was really nice of you. I got a tip. Thanks for the tip. Tip a strip. Do I got to dance for it? Like, is that what I need to do? Thank you for the tip. I appreciate it. That said, I think we've been here for 30 minutes. I got to get back to getting this Airbnb together, but I really appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me on this live session. Do me a favor. Follow Quick Commuting on Instagram because a lot of this stuff is going to start moving over there. My page is going to be a lot more of me and my life. and the things that I'm interested in outside of helping people get remote jobs. And I'm going to put all of my I want everyone to have a remote job energy into Quit Commuting. So do me a favor and oh, thank you. Do me a favor and follow Quit Commuting on Instagram and subscribe to the Quit Commuting YouTube channel because I'm going to start at some point posting videos on YouTube on the Quit Commuting channel, hopefully multiple times a week. Someone said they purchased the Remote Ready bundle. It is amazing. I appreciate you saying that. I put a lot of work into that thing. Just so you guys know, the Remote Ready bundle is my signature course, is the Quit Commuting signature course that guides you through the 4 phases of finding and landing remote work. There's a whole section about like, where are the remote jobs? There's a section about how to apply for jobs and the things that you should do before you hit that apply button. There's a section on how to how to nail your interview. I have this really great pep talk in there. I gave y'all a whole pep talk about interviewing because the way that people approach interviews is wrong. And I want you to feel empowered when you go into interviews. And then there's a section on how to negotiate your salary, because also I want you to feel empowered there too. And then there's bonus sections about what to do when you feel stuck and how to use AI to supercharge your job search and things like that. It's a really, really great course, and you guys can order it at any time. It also comes with 30 days of free access to the Academy. And I mentioned the Academy earlier. I do this in the Academy every week. So every Saturday we get together and I answer questions. Plus you can get your resume reviewed. Every other week there's a resume person reviewing resumes in the Academy. Once a month, they have a LinkedIn coach that reviews people's LinkedIn. So check out the Remote Ready bundle. If you go to quitcommuting.com, or if you go to the link in my bio on Instagram, you can grab the Remote Ready bundle. Lastly, if I am in Atlanta, I am in Atlanta, not if. I am in Atlanta next week. So if you're watching this and you're in Atlanta, come kick it with your girl. Friday, I'm doing a co-working meetup for my friends who already work remotely. I'm doing a co-working meetup at WeWork in Colony Square. I will be there Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So come hang out and co-work with me. Just know the drop-in rate at WeWork is $29, and you do have to pay to park under Colony Square. But but I'd love to meet you in person if you want to come and co-work with me for the day. I have a few meetings on Friday, so I will be a little bit in and out, but for the most part, I will be in the main area, sitting there and working. I'm also hosting a live workshop. So if you've ever been interested in the Remote Ready bundle, if you've ever purchased the Remote Ready bundle, but haven't really dived into it, we're going to get to actual work. I'm actually going to sit there and hold your hand through the first 2 modules of it. And we are going to work on those things. We were going to get these things done. It's a 2-day live workshop in Atlanta. And when we leave that workshop, you will have applied for some remote jobs. You will have applied for some remote jobs. If you go to quitcommuting.com, once again, you can purchase tickets. You can purchase tickets to the Remote Ready Bundle live workshop that's happening April 7th and April 8th. And if you are in the Academy, our Academy members are doing a co-working session, not a co-working session. We're doing a job application session and dinner, drinks, dinner, job applications, Saturday night. If you're in the Academy, log into the Academy to RSVP for that. I'm not sending details to anybody about that because it's just for Academy members. So yeah, if you're in Atlanta, I'll be in Atlanta next week and I'd love to see you guys. If you are in Houston, Charlotte, Chicago, New York, or Orlando, I am coming to your city as well. In Dallas, head to quitcommuting.com to purchase your tickets. Tickets are on sale for all of the cities that I'm coming to. So come through. All right, that's it. Thank you for this. I really, really appreciate y'all for hanging out, and I will see you guys on here in a month. But if you follow Quit Commuting on Instagram and hang out with me here on Instagram, you'll see much more of me in the next few days because y'all got to see what I'm doing with this Airbnb. All right. Happy Saturday, y'all. Have a great weekend.